So I'm not going to crank this down too much. I'm just going to kind of tighten this nut, and I can see on the back over here that the axle is kind of moving into place, which is what I want it to do, just to get it in for now. I'll torque it up later once it's all set, but this is just for now. Okay, so now that's starting to tighten up. I'm not going to worry about that too much right now. I'm going to move on to the ball joint nuts. And that'll be a lot of fun. Those are 22 millimeters, and I get to work with those now, so great. So now I'm just tightening up the top nut. I have the jack underneath the ball joint holding it up, putting some pressure on it, like I did in the first part of the video, so I now should be able to spin it without the bolts spinning. So I'm going to tighten that down. Okay, so the control arm bushing is in place. I managed to kind of jack up the control arm a little bit, and then like kind of grab and pry the sway bar down below here again. Now the bushing's in place. I kind of just wiggled it on. It's a new bushing. You should get new bushings too. They're kind of cheap, and they can add some restability to your car. So now I'm just going to put the nuts on with a bracket. It's kind of a pain in the ass to do, or rather the bolts on, but I think I can manage it. Well, I managed to get the bracket on. I put the far bolt on first, tighten up just a little bit so it'll stay on, and then if you need, you can kind of use a clamp or something, or even a jack to kind of put some pressure on this bracket to hold it so you can get the second one in. It's a little bit difficult to get the second one in, get the thread. Once you start it off, it's nice and easy. You can just kind of tighten it down. So that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm just tightening down the bracket bolt for the torsion bar bushing. That's good. Okay, things are pretty much back together at this point. You can see the nice new shiny axle in there, the new ball joint down there. I jacked up this a little bit, put some pressure on it so I could tighten down that nut on the tie rod. I believe you're supposed to reuse, or I believe you're supposed to buy new self-locking nuts, but I didn't do that, so I'm just going to use the old ones. You know, what can go wrong? But I have a whole list of bolt torques I got off of AllData. I bought the programs. Wasn't very useful, but I mean, you can probably just get it off of here. So, tie rod 60 newton meters. Just the ball joint to knuckle is 140. That is going to be the lower nut. The ball joint to wishbone, which is the upper nut, is 100 newton meters. Sway bar screws, which are for the bracket, and the axle bolt is a whopping 270 newton meters, which is that guy right there. So I'm just going to take my torque wrench, which I have somewhere amidst this pile of junk, and tighten everything down more or less to the specification, and then I should be all set to lower it down and see how it goes. So a minor setback here. When I was attaching the bracket, I over-torqued the bolt that used to be right there, one of these guys, and I snapped the head right off. So, drilled a little hole, got an extractor, which tightens to the left and pulls the bolt out, and it just wouldn't come out. So, I just drilled it out, so I have a completely new hole drilled inside there. If it would focus, that'd be great. I have a completely new hole drilled inside there, and I'm about to go get my tap and die set and re-thread the hole, so a different bolt can be put in there, a bigger one. And I'm going to go ahead and do that, and this has been a pretty huge setback that's cost me a few hours of work, so yeah. Well, I got the bracket on back down here. I had to use my tap to tap a new hole. I had to drill it out with a 9/32 drill bit, and then I used a tap to make some threads in it, and it's got a 5/16 bolt, and tighten it down in there. I used the original bolt on the other side since that wasn't damaged, and now the bracket is nice and tight and in place. I would not advise tightening this up to 80 Newton meters. That's definitely not accurate because it just broke my bolt in half. So I would go a little bit less tighter than that, but it's all set to go. So just make sure the bolts are tight. All I've got to do now is just put the wheel back on and take it for a spin. Wheel back on, jack taken out, lug nuts tightened, center ring bolts thing on the axle tightened. Now it's time for the finishing touch, which is just the cap. There we go. And that should be all. I'm going to take it out, get it out of here, see if it'll move at all. And if it does, that's nice. If not, that's too bad.
HID of one color. HID of a less harsh color. LEDs. One fog light. Cracked bumper. No fog light. More cracked bumper.
Thanks for that, Davis.
Goldfish pretzels. Mercedes vertical hood.
Davis, stop taking